Howdy folks, purpose of this video tonight is the subject of relationships. I thought, as we're approaching Valentine's Day, or as the Romans called it, Lupercalia, I thought it would be appropriate. Lupercalia was the festival of the wolf. So this could be considered the season of the wolf. The time when the wolf is hungry. Middle of winter, food is scarce. But this is more of a metaphor for the inner wolf, so to speak. Your desires, your hunger for your sexual appetite. Let's put it that way. And so it really is it's not so much a festival about love, it's more of a festival about lust. That being said, the state of relationships in general between men and women are frankly at a deplorable state. It is rather sad to watch what's going on. I have been witness to many breakups, both within my own life and people very close to me. It's not very pretty. There seems to be a distinct lack of respect flowing both ways between men and women, and just games upon games of one-upmanship and ego gratification kind of stuff. Maybe I'll get into some examples later, but it's it really is sad. And I don't want this video to come across like I'm putting all the blame upon men or women. I think there is fault on both sides, but there are some facts about the situation that we need to own up to. So without any further ado and in no particular order, let's just jump right into the idea that you'll hear mostly women saying, where have all the good men gone? This statement, it's thrown around rather flippantly. Women feel like they can't find a good potential long-term mate, and there's some reasons for this. Number one is that, I'm sorry ladies, but you and your foremothers decided to basically start breeding out the good men. You got fooled, you got tricked, you got conned by wealthy businessmen and social engineers and think tank organizations into believing that the strong man, who, let's be honest, is a good man. If you are not a strong man, then you can't be a good man. You're incapable of being a good man if you do not have that strength. First and foremost, the strength that comes from within yourself. Not necessarily physical, muscular strength, but an emotional strength. There are so many codependent men these days, and I myself have been a codependent man in the past, and I have done a lot of work on myself to get out of that mindset. But women got fooled into believing that the strong man, the independent man, is to be denigrated, is to be scorned. Maybe not for a one night stand. He's still probably more attractive in that light than the codependent man is, but the strong man, the man who's able to be alone and maybe isn't necessarily sleeping around all the time and having all these flings and stuff like that, is considered an enemy to most of modern day women. And this has a lot to do with his intelligence level as well. Men who are intelligent, who challenge women, are not being rewarded, are not being they're not walking away with the prize, so to speak. Because there's this narrative that, like, if a man is even explaining something to a woman, that he is somehow talking down to her. The whole idea of mansplaining, this derogatory term for a man simply just explaining something to a woman. Women have been taught that that a man is somehow acting like a misogynist or a sexist if he's simply just explaining something. It could be something very simple to her that she just isn't understanding. I'm sure a lot of people will call me a misogynist or a sexist because of this video, because I'm attempting to explain what the fuck has happened to humanity and our relationships with each other. It's really ridiculous. And so as a result of this dynamic, it is for lack of a better term, the stupid men, the more codependent types, the ones who lack inner strength, that tend to get rewarded. I mean, it seems to me like a lot of these modern women, they just want, like, they're playing power dynamics with men. Like, they're trying to see how many points they can rack up on something in their head about how many men are messaging them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. It's like they want to feel valuable, so they're trying to rack up as many men, giving them attention as they can. And frankly, it's rather disgusting. And men aren't not guilty of this as well. The Andrew Tates of the world will denigrate a promiscuous woman, but then they themselves go out and um, sleep with a bunch of women, and you know, the so-called red-pilled community will say, well, it's different for a man, um, a man is fulfilling his biological impulses by sleeping with a bunch of women, and while there is perhaps a seed of truth to that, there have been studies done on body count and how it affects your ability to sustain a long-term monogamous relationship with your partner. That if there have been studies done that show that men have a higher threshold of a body count versus women when it comes to their statistical capacity to sustain a long-term monogamous relationship. Women, it's a fewer amount of sexual partners they can have where their ability to sustain a relationship like that isn't harmed. But if you look at the history of feminism and the sexual revolution, one of the biggest grievances for the sexual revolution and the liberation of women to be sexually promiscuous was that men had been doing it for hundreds of years, that men had been promiscuous for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and that it was their turn. They were just sick of the double standard. So for a man to be denigrating promiscuous women while himself being promiscuous is complete bullshit. It's first of all, how does any man who's actually on his purpose, who's actually, doing what's right, paying attention to the right things, acting rightly in the world, how does he have any fucking time for that kind of bullshit? I'm serious. You're not helping the situation. You're just trying to get your rocks off, and frankly, it's just making you psychopathic. I mean, you can look up the statistics and the studies for yourself about the effects of a promiscuous lifestyle turning people psychopathic. Another dynamic of this is pornography. Pornography is one of the leading factors for the degeneracy of the male in society. There is a direct link between the amount of pornography use and the amount of just all of the disgusting behavior that men do exhibit. It is literally kryptonite for men. It is putting you in contact with a digital demon that is quite literally trying to steal your life force. And it is, and that's what happens. You waste your life force, and you become degenerated as a result. And then women say things like, "Where have all the good men gone?" That's where. And then there's the whole dynamic of the OnlyFans woman, the digital whore. news flash, ladies, you're not helping men by doing that. I've heard so many women say that, oh, well, I'm just helping those lonely men out there who are, you know, who can't get a girlfriend and they're sexually frustrated. No, you're not helping them. Men who are sexually frustrated need to bear that burden and use it as fuel to make something of their lives. Your sexual life force is your spiritual dynamo. This is your will force to live. And if you are wasting it, you're wasting your life. Yeah. So the rise of the digital whore is this that's the other side of the pornography dynamic. It's just really atrocious. And I mean, the idea that men would pay money for this, like really, like, man, very sad. But I mean, there's the simps who are watching porn and paying for OnlyFans and telling a woman everything she wants to hear, just so that they can get that crumb, that little crumb of pussy. It's they will walk themselves into such a degenerated state just for that. And culture pushes them towards it. You know, every rom-com movie, every I mean, high school dynamic, it's just, from every angle, there's this push towards the rise of the promiscuous woman and the rise of the simp. Like, I don't think women and men, but mostly women, really understand what the fuck is going on when it comes to all of these dynamics. This is so much more than just a battle of sexes. This is about tyranny and slavery, ultimately. This is a war on civilization itself. It's a nefarious plot to downbreed society to be weak, because weak people can't stand up to tyranny. So, I mean, you gotta just see it for what it's worth. And make better choices. I mean, I myself have fallen for these dynamics in the past. Pornography, being a simp, you know, losing myself to a woman who took me for all I was worth and chewed me up and spit me out. It was one of the most horrendous things that has ever happened to me. And I mean, it was an incredible learning experience, I can tell you that, but man, it's sad to see other men walking into that dynamic, those kinds of dynamics, and usually it's at a lesser degree than to what I experience, but I mean, and maybe that's the problem, is that it's at such a lesser extent that they really can't see it for what it's worth. I mean, I couldn't see it for what it's worth until sometime after the relationship had ended, but it's a... These power tripping whores, man, like, seriously, they want to do anything they can to get one over on a man. And the more men they have at their disposal, the more they feel empowered. It's totally disgusting, and I'm very sick of it. You know, you got me, but it ain't happening again. No way is it gonna happen again. It's... I mean, that's what they say, hindsight is 20/20, right?